Before beginning, like this content, what should they do?
Hit that bell for notifications, subscribe, check out my comment. It's the kids series about. It's so cool. It can give amazing dreams and stop it from raining zombies.
Stop it from raining zombies.
And the prints are so awesome.
Oh yeah, we added these prints too.
Yeah.
Man, do you like those then?
Yeah.
All right.
That's super cool. More on that at the end of the video.
More on that at the end of the video. Hey there, so today I want to return to that wonderful world of entertainment, and today I want to bring up an article that I found to be quite interesting. It's from the site, well, you can see it right here, and they've been an interesting site in coverage. They've actually added a lot. They've been entered into one of the defense filings. Yeah, Monica and Ron's defense decided to put them in there. It's been an interesting ride. Now here, they're questioning the Dallas News article that came up. And if you haven't read that, you definitely should. I put out a video on that too, and it's linked in this article as well. You can check out that article. You definitely, again, should read it yourself and come to your own conclusions. But this is asking, is Kick Vic's attorney manipulating the press? Good question there. So let's check this out. There seems to be a desperate effort to being made to sway media on the side of the Kick Vic crowd. We have been covering the Vic Mignogna case for months, diligently covering every piece of information that comes out with a bit of humor injected with consent for entertainment purposes. Now, I like that line too, I have to say, with a bit of humor injected with consent. Yeah, that's a good way to, throw out something, have a little bit of fun there. But continuing on, but despite the clear bias I have shown in each article written on the subject, I can honestly say that my journalistic integrity has not been compromised. The same cannot be said for columnist Sharon Grigsby, seen here, and her Dallas News article, who decided to publish some statements that almost immediately required clarifications. So, Grigsby shows her anime chops by crediting Dragon Ball Super Broly for its widely successful run in theaters, and remarks how, quote, the wildly successful opening also unleashed a torrent of chatter about Vic's long-running alleged inappropriate behavior. She goes on to confirm that conventions began to remove him from their lineup at around the time where publicity for this movie would be a huge moneymaker for all actors and conventions involved. Yeah, I almost feel like that's kind of a double-edged compliment there. She shows her anime chops by looking up something that's credited with the start of this by every other thing out there. Way to throw that in. But continuing. Once again, Grigsby goes on to correctly state that this is a case involving the heavily criticized #MeToo movement for its affinity to destroy careers first, ask questions later. Now, I would correct that and to say that, yeah, they don't actually ask questions, period. Most people that get involved in that, you end up asking questions. You have to. But those questions, this stuff is normally never rectified because it doesn't matter. You have things that jump from subject to subject to subject. But continuing, what makes the case unusual in this era is that Mignogna is digging in and fighting back in court with a lawsuit alleging, among other things, defamation, Grigsby adds. This last statement is partially true, as more people that have been smeared in a wave of accusations are fighting back by exposing their accusers to little legal recourse. And that's true. There's not a lot of litigation out there that's trying to fight back, but you are starting to see more of that. In fact, we've talked about a certain document that was put together, one on broken staircases, one that included 30 plus people. Well, it was engineered after another spreadsheet document. And well, one of the people on that, they also sued. So we are following a certain pattern with this. But continuing. Furthermore, Grigsby explains how it was, quote, tweets by animation and gaming aficionado Mars Girl that accused Mignogna of great volumes of misconduct and urged Funimation to reconsider its hiring of him. That had great impact on the narrative of this story. Her connections to the industry allowed for it to be shared so openly. Grigsby conveniently does not mention how Mars Girl was the creator of the Kick Vic hashtag. That's what they're talking about here when they say Kick Vic, which unleashed the torque Grigsby mentioned earlier in her article and set in motion these events. Yep, they also don't mention the fact that ANN was involved or anything else. I mean, they don't mention quite a few things. As far as hit pieces go, this one is missing that quote-unquote cool treatment that has contributed to the derailment of a few careers within the entertainment business. What's interesting to me is the use of some very specific terms like GoFundMe, war chest, I want to see them ground into dust, and kissing children on the forehead or cheek is creepy. It doesn't take a rocket surgeon, I like that, to link these statements to a single source, as he is quoted throughout the article. If we assume that Sean Baton Death March Limois is the mastermind behind this publication, the next question should be, why use this specific author to pen this narrative? That's where we get to the journalistic integrity part of the question. That is not an article intended to inform the general public of an ongoing legal case. Instead, Grigsby sold her integrity for a poorly researched hit piece intended to poison the well for future potential jurors. Once acclaimed a great editorial journalist for her coverage of the Baylor University sex scandal, her coverage of Dallas PD's quote-unquote racist social media posts shows us just how far she has fallen. Her coverage is laden with adjectives designed to create an emotional response from the reader, guiding their outrage toward one source, and hopefully create a more robust narrative to make the women appear like victims. And that's true too. You see that appear time and again in this, but that's a lot of what you're going to find in this kind of stuff. Nick Rekieta, it goes on, has given us ample entertainment while outlining the potential repercussions behind every decision being made by both the plaintiff and defense legal team. If Rekieta is right in his dissection of the almost 800-page document that the defense has presented to the courts, Limois' actions are quite revealing. These appear to be desperate tactics of a man who is seeing that his clients have a high possibility of losing the bulk of their quote-unquote evidence and the case itself. As Rekieta has said on numerous occasions, Limois, I like saying that, I apologize, would have to petition the court for permission to dump his clients this far into proceedings. A hearing is set for September 6th for a judge to review all anti-SLAPP motions and far greater amount of time than Ty Beard had initially asked for to properly review all the documents. The amount of quote-unquote red ink that Rekieta used while demolishing the mountain of paperwork that was attached to the initial filings by the defense should bring a fair amount of fear to Limois. During the demolition, Rekieta mused about the potential for sanctions levied against the defense due to the highly inflammatory comments that Lemon forcibly injected into the proceedings. Oh, and we get that post as well. Next best course, poison the well of potential jurors to make their elimination from the jury pool that much easier in the future. I imagine that Baton Death March Limois has approached his clients with a proposal to settle on more than one occasion, but their stubbornness and a lack of awareness surely prevents them from seeing past their own egos. The defense lawyer must do the best he can for his clients, even if it involves the use of scummy tactics, even if it means that he will not see his money for all his effort for a very long time, maybe not in his lifetime. Being an attorney is not a popularity contest. Ty Beard often muses about how lawyers are viewed by the public in a less than pleasing spotlight. Limois is certainly doing his best to make sure that spotlight becomes a bit brighter. The press was once quite powerful, and in many ways it still is, but seeing how easily it can be manipulated to advance a person's narrative makes me shudder. Seeing quote-unquote journalists sell their integrity so openly is outright disgusting and brings shame to the sacrifice that many honest journalists have paid to ensure the freedom and power of the press. So then they ask you what you think about it. Now, something else that they did not include in this that I think really does highlight this point is the fact that the Dallas News, they've also covered this lawyer before. They've talked about him in 2010, and when they talked about him, I found that to be interesting because he was touted as a survivor. That's what the Dallas News article is touting these other folks as. They're touted as survivors. A survivor that overcame some type of adversity. 2011 went back to the jury pool, now going out and representing yet more survivors. Sounds like an interesting way of putting things together, right? And especially in this social climate. Only. But anyhow, you tell me what you think about this stuff here. Like this type of content? Consider supporting the channel. Links are in the description. One of those is The Case of the Littlest Umbrella. 2 comic books associated with one message. We can defy gatekeepers. We can go out, we can do what we want. Now, one of the things we've added while this is in demand is a poster tier. You can get 2 posters with this for good price there, and we've limited that to a certain number. Once they're gone, they're gone. No more of that will be available. There's also a limited artist tier for original art, so check those out as well. Leave me your thoughts on this subject, too. I'm curious what you think about that article. What do you think about this presentation? Is this an attempt to utilize media? Is media in on it? I mean, I wonder where the complicity stops. Also, I want to end by saying I appreciate you. Many people have forgotten who exactly empowers these endeavors. Well, don't want to be that person. So I want to end by saying thank you. I appreciate you, and we'll be doing this again soon. Thanks.